father, is not to be trusted. That Ilebaye's father is a suspect. That the Ilebaye's father is after Ilebaye's money. Finally, I've gotten the right information of what happened between Ilebaye and the person that assaulted her. At first when I came across that video, I didn't get that information. So it has very clear now that Ilebaye had something with her father. So not quite long, the father, released a claim, where he said a lot of things. You understand? So the father made it clear that he has been the one that influenced the winning of Ilebaye. When Ilebaye took part in BB Naija All Stars in 2023 edition. So his influence and his support, both in money and also the support of his colleague and every other Nigerians, also gave their support for Ilebaye. So successfully, Ilebaye, came out as the winner. She emerged the winner of the People Nigeria, All Stars edition. So now, what the father is saying now that led to the issue is having with Ilebaye. The father made it clear that after she won, she distanced herself, from him, the father. She's no longer connecting with the father. So the father made it clear that that he called her to come and show appreciation to as many who supported her while he was in Big Brother house, but Ilebaye refused, to show up. So on several times, more than 5 times, he called Ilebaye. Ilebaye refused to honor that call. Understand? So he said a lot of things. He talked about Ilebaye's character. He talked about how Ilebaye have changed, how Ilebaye, did the reconstruction on her face, how Ilebaye did BBL, how Ilebaye is into drugs, how Ilebaye influenced, a younger one, because he said that he has other two sons, under Ilebaye. According to him, one is 14 and one is 10. So I don't know if it is now or at that time. So now with the whole thing now that led to the fight, because the Ilebaye's father claimed that Ilebaye is disrespecting him, that Ilebaye is not taking his word, that he's not showing concern, about him. He talked about how he requested for some money from Ilebaye, for him to go to check up in Dubai. But Ilebaye claimed that she doesn't have money, and he promised that he will pay back the money. But Ilebaye claimed that she doesn't have money. Only for him to find out that days later, or maybe a week later, Ilebaye was seriously spraying bunch of cash, in our colleague's wedding. That is a the cross that took part in the previous BB Naija show, and also in the same year that Ilebaye won. You understand? So he said a lot of things, to just to cut the whole thing short. He talked about so many things. How Ilebaye is no longer listening to him. How Ilebaye have been disrespecting him, and he also said something about Ilebaye, supporting him to divorce the wife. So I really have something to say concerning this. Before the Levi's father made that move to divorce the mother, he must have thought about it, or maybe he have gotten one or two advice from other elderly persons before doing that. I don't want to believe that it was the Levi that supported him to divorce the mother that made him to do that, because he made it understand that Levi supported him to divorce the mother, and Levi is the one going against him for divorcing the mother. You understand? So now, in all of this whole thing, there are still other things he talked about, how they had a fight that wasn't that serious, how Levi called the police on him, and how they went to the police station, how they resolved the whole thing, and they came back. How Levi still went back again to report him. All stuff. This is family stuff. You understand? And we have to talk about it because it has come online. So it's our time we talk about it. You understand? So now, in all of this, now we have to understand that this is just like this is just a clash between a father and a daughter. Even though the mother and the father, they also have their own issues on one side. Now this is just a clash between the father and the mother. So from what the father is saying now, that Ilebaye is no longer listening to him. Ilebaye does no longer care for him. Ilebaye does not respect him. He talked about how sometimes they have one or two clash. Ilebaye will confront him. Ilebaye even hit him several times. And how he sustained injury from those eating. So many stuff. And he made it clear that the reconstruction Ilebaye did on her face, is the reason why whenever even there's a little cut on his face, the whole thing we just done something else. So that is like a claim that the reason why Ilebaye's face was looking swollen is because of maybe the little drag in a fight they had. So that led to that. Because seeing that swollen face alone, you'll be thinking that the father was just beating her. You understand? But from what the father is saying now, it's clear that it wasn't that something serious. It's due to the reconstruction that Ilebaye did on her face that made the face to be like that. Now, what we have to talk about now, the big question in all of this whole matter is this. some people have already started insinuating, some people have started saying that the father, is not to be trusted. That Ilebaye's father is a suspect. That the Ilebaye's father is after Ilebaye's money. After the fact that he wanted Ilebaye to show appreciation to as many who supported her while she was in the house. He is still looking for a way to extort money from her. He's still looking for a way to get money from her. And Ilebaye, being a young girl of 24 or let's say 25, he's a girl that would like to live a soft life, that would like to live a cool life. So he have all the money in her disposal now to do whatever she likes. So it's not even a must that she show all those care that the father needs. But I don't know what you all think. I think it's also right for Ilebaye to really show care to his father, to take care of his father in terms of his health, in terms of his feeding, in terms of his well-being. You understand? I know that is also right. But could it really be that Ilebaye is no longer doing all these things? You know, because especially now that the father and mother are no longer together, maybe Ilebaye have totally disconnected herself from the father, because the father claimed that Ilebaye, addressed him as not being a father. Like, are you a father? So he was like, okay, I'm not a father. So what am I if I'm not a father? You understand? So I think there's no a connection between Ilebaye and the father that much. But the father is still trying, to see how he can extort money from her. So this is what people are saying online. So I don't know what you all think about this. Could it really be true that the father is looking for, by all means, by oppressing and maltreating her in order for him to get money from her? Or on the other hand, Ilebaye herself is really not, playing a role well as a good child, by taking care of her father, by doing all the necessary things she need to do, for her father, in terms of respecting her father, in terms of checking up on him, in terms of sending money for his health, for his well-being, all of those stuff. So we are still yet to understand this whole thing. All the claims that the father released, we have not heard from Ilebaye for she to say her own side of the story. You understand? So when from there we'll know if we are not even 100% sure if this whole thing that the father said is actually true. You understand? So now, what do you all think about this whole thing? Is it all about the father getting money or trying to see how he can get something from Ilebaye, or is be just because of the disrespect, just because of how the daughter have been treating her father? All right, guys, that'll be on this video. You are free to drop your thoughts on this video. I'll see you on the next.